These days you have the texting done or the confirmations for the place themselves. Were for a phone consult done like a week in advance?
Hi, it's Joy from Joyful Eats, and I'm here for my mukbang. I have cooked, as you can see, chicken curry and what we call Jeera aloo, which means cumin potato, and rice, chili, cucumber for normal, a glass with some ice. Why ice? Because I'm going to pair it with some vodka, Beluga vodka. Beluga being a type of sturgeon fish from which you harvest caviar. And the only time I ever had it before in my life was in Hong Kong at a caviar bar. So caviar and Beluga. I don't think it's a great whiskey, but vodka. I don't think it's a great vodka, but it's world-renowned and meant to be paired with the finest caviar. I didn't put it in the fridge. I'm just putting it over ice. I have no caviar, so I'm eating it with Indian food. All right, got some jasmine rice. So I'm going to eat with my hands, traditional Bengali style. For that and some potato. So I did the cooking last night, and I need a good curry or dishes similar to curries, such as chili con carne. Good dishes such as chili con carne and curries need an overnight marination after it's been cooked to let the flavors and the spices really go through the food. So let's try that. Happy with it. It's my first time making this type of curry. I don't know what it is. Just a really basic curry. Let's try the potato. Well done. I'm congratulating myself. It came out better than I expected. I tasted this while cooking yesterday and it seemed a bit overly spicy, but now it's toned down a bit. Not that spicy. Again, not great vodka, but the cold iciness of it works really well with the spicy curry. Even though I wasn't raised in Bangladesh, I learned to eat with my hands. Unwillingly at first. So when I was 10 years old, I was living in Australia at the time. Spent 7 years in Canada, moved to Australia a few years later. My dad is taking me to Bangladesh. So having never been to Bangladesh as a sentient person, obviously I was there when I was under 1 year old, so I had no memory of it. Having grown up outside of Bangladesh, my dad insisted I would have to learn to eat the Bengali way. Everywhere we went, staying with family, I would have to eat like this. I rebelled against it, but he forced me for months on end, wouldn't let me use a fork or a knife or a spoon, except for cereal, yeah. So eventually, at the age of 10, I went to Bangladesh for 3 months, I think. For 3 months. Did not eat with my hands once. Turns out my dad holds two traditions that basically everyone in Bangladesh don't hold dearly to. So they knew I was raised overseas, and they're like, no, he's a fork, he's a spoon, he's a knife. Take what, use whatever you need to use. And thus, I did not eat with my hands once in the 3 months I was there. That might have been the end of it. But when I was 12, my parents moved to Singapore. And Singapore has a lot of great Indian cuisine, especially vegetarian food. So I went to a very popular Indian vegetarian restaurant. We went regularly every few weeks, called Komala Villas. And they serve like a vegetarian version of what you're seeing right now, but everything you eat by hand. And the food was amazing, delicious. And I did learn. I took advantage. I could have used a fork and spoon, but no one else did in the restaurant. So I took advantage of the skills I learned a few years before and started eating with my hands. And I suspect what's happened is, because this was amazing, delicious food, I came to associate eating delicious vegetarian food or Indian food with my hands. So after 3 years, I moved out of Singapore back to Australia. And it was a good, I moved back to Australia in 95, and I didn't go back to Singapore until 2007 or 2008. So a good 15 plus years. And since then, I've gone to Singapore since 2007. I think I've gone back to Singapore every year, 2020, every year since, at least once, sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times a year. I love Singapore. I want to move there. So much amazing food of all cuisines and styles. And almost every time I go back to Singapore, I go to an Indian vegetarian restaurant and eat with my hands. So I've made plenty of chicken curries before. This is my first time cooking jeera aloo, cumin potatoes. I like it, but I guess I just used what I had in the fridge, and all I had in the fridge were baby potatoes with the skin on. So baby potatoes, you're not going to peel, they're too small. So I cook this with the skin. Skin gets in the way. Next time I'll buy bigger potatoes, peel them, and make the jeera aloo that way. If I do this again, pair it with vodka. Beluga caviar is among the last caviar. Beluga vodka will be among the last vodkas I would ever pair. I don't understand what Russians see in this. So you've got the beluga sturgeon fish. Classical, beautiful Russian bottle. Just is not a great vodka. Maybe Russians have a better tolerance for cheap vodka, I don't know. But that just is not good. There's so many New Zealand, Australian vodka from around the world that are so much better than this. The skin is a distraction. I might stop there. It was a good, enjoyable meal. I need to do this again. Maybe with a few different dishes. I enjoyed this. It's been a while since I've eaten with my hands.